Hello everybody, my name is Kind Cruelty and welcome to another Stella Sora video. In this video we will be going over our newest versatile unit. I almost said support there. Our newest versatile unit, Nazuka. Now Nazuka is a Ventus unit who specializes in AoE. I say specializes in AoE, but she also does really well in single target situations, and she is very strong. Now, if you're looking to build her, I would advise you to use her in the versatile spot. I will explain my reasoning for this, because even as a main, I wouldn't advise you to put her there, because she deals so much damage as an on-fielder, and you can use her even if you don't have the Nanoha. We will get there when we get to teams, but let's dive in. What do her skills do? So we shall just go over the brief one, where she flies the bouquet, which is nice and it deals damage. The bouquet can miss, but even though it does miss, the flower bouquet then blasts, it generates the formation and shoots several flower petals. Now of her two builds, it's either you choose the petal build or the flower formation build, but we will be getting there. But yes, and the support skill can inflict Ventus marks. Now she's one of the best mark appliers in the game. In fact, if the newest support versatile unit we get the support unit we get for Ventus eventually actually buffs mark damage, the Ventus team would actually be one of the strongest teams ever, because she has consistent application of the Ventus mark. This is kind of crazy. This is on the level of using Nazuna as a main, because Nazuna's auto attack applies the marks. That's at that level. That's how good she is at applying the marks from off field. So she's really nice there. And then her ult just generates the tornadoes. Those are the two we will be focusing on. So for her emblem build, you will be focusing on these three stats. So you see mine isn't exactly at level 70, but I know which stats you would want to focus on. So we shall start with the level 71. For the level 71, you want penetration. I don't focus much on emblems because I know that I can deal good damage without them, but they're very useful and I believe I should start putting more resources into them. This is just me with one role and what I got with one role. So yeah, for level 70, you want penetration. You want Ventus penetration. That's the first thing you want, and you also want crit rate. Those two stats are the best two stats you will be looking for. And then you'll also want skill damage and Ventus damage. Those are the four stats you will be looking for her level 70 mark. Now, as for a level 80 mark, you also want penetration, you also want the Ventus pen, but you want the skill up +3. The skill up +3, you know that her skill is where she gets the bulk of her damage. I don't know if I mentioned that, but the bulk of her damage is from her skill. And then you're gonna want crit rate as well. After that, for the fourth one, ult damage does work nicely. And then for the level 90 emblem, you are going to want to focus on three potentials. The three potentials you're going to want is flower formation blast, if you can get that, +3, and then get the self-improvement +3 if you can, and then get the flower formation erosion +3. Now, the reason I'm not advising the flower convergence is because it does not work in boss blitz. You will see in the builds that I've marked the optional one, I've put this under optional. The reason I put this under optional is because it does not work in some situations and it works in others. So it's optional depending on what content you're looking to use. For an example, another one that I've put in the optional one is Youth Annihilation. This one is very good in Menace Arena because the basic mobs, it kills them quite fast, right? Immediately kills them. But it's useless in boss blitz, so it's an optional potential. That does not mean it's not strong. In fact, this is one of the strongest potentials she has for Menace Arena, and this is actually a really good potential also because it increases the flower formation damage, which is her main build that I do recommend actually. Even over this single target focused build, I recommend this build right here because it deals a lot of damage. But we've been talking too much about builds. Let's go over to her talents. So this one is when tornadoes generated by her ultimates are on the field, all squads made skill damage are increased by 45%. This is just a boost to the squad. And then Wind Chant, every time she deals a skill damage, upon meeting certain conditions, Wind Chant turns into Wind Roar, increasing her Ventus damage. That is also... Nazuka is one of the few units who does not have a tempting potential in the early ones. None of the early ones are tempting. Then it starts being tempting with this one that the Ventus damage dealt to a target is increased. Potential 3 is the talent 3 is the tempting one out of all the talents. So for free-to-play players or low spenders, I really wouldn't advise going for potentials because she's really good at 0 copies, at T0. It's only the T3 that I feel like deals the most for me, because in some teams you want her as the main damage dealer. Yes, if you're using her with Nanoha, then this one will come in handy because it increases the skill damage of Nanoha by 45%, and Nanoha's skill build is really good. So if you are going to be using her with Nanoha, this is a good potential to go for, but talent to go for, I mean. But if you are free to play, I would advise skipping that. Other than that, you're gonna know that the other ones are always going to be good. Increases Nazuka's Ventus damage dealt to higher tier enemies. If you're maxing her out, you're maxing her out. You don't need me to tell you it's worth it. But for those who want to buff Nanoha, I mean, I bet this does help Nanoha in the Ventus team. But I still say it is not worth it to go all the way for this potential. Now that we are done with potentials, I want us to start speaking about her builds. Her strongest build that I have, right, only because of the potentials I have, not that it's the strongest build she has. Perhaps it is, I still need more testing, but the strongest build I currently have is this one that you see on screen right now. So this is a team of Canis as the main, Anne as the support, and Nazuka as the main damage dealer. I say Nazuka is the main damage dealer, but she's the support, but yes, she's the main damage dealer. So for Canis, the potentials you are looking for, the main potential, the core, as I've said, that the core is the weakness analysis. Everything else is just an additional, honestly. The core potential you want is the weakness analysis. And you're probably wondering, what does the weakness analysis have? And do you really advise Canis to be used as a main? And yes, I do. Because the core analysis that she has, right? The weakness analysis, I call it core analysis. The weakness analysis at maxed can increase the Ventus damage taken by 54%. So this means that she will be dealing 54% more damage, and she doesn't even need to be that high leveled. This is why I'm saying she's worth it even if you're not going to pull for Nanoha, even if you don't have Nanoha and you want to use the Nazuka. The Canis is more than enough. In fact, my strongest team right now is this one, but then I can't seem to get the proper potentials to sort of boost the Nanoha team, but this has been my best team by far. So the weakness analysis really does buff. So I want to speak on why I advise subject boost as well. It just increases the team's attack, the squad's attack. So each flying leaf gives you a 7.4 attack. And for my optional ones, I've put in comprehensive analysis, which increases the size of the flying leaf. So each flying leaf size, increasing its size will also help strength, the one that's written strength leverage. Strength leverage basically reduces the attack of the enemy. My Canis is at level 30, hence I said it's optional. My Canis is at level 30 and I want her to survive, and I'm not planning on taking her any higher than that. So at level 30, survivability can be an issue. So this is a nice to have, hence it's under optional. Those two are just there to increase the attack of the enemy, whilst the other one increases the range, so more enemies' attacks are decreased. And then for Anne, you want the Galbatian, the Wind Bastion, and the Turbulent Flow. You can just look at that build. It's the similar Anne build that I've been recommending, right, for Anne, which is the Wind Bash, which increases the Ventus damage taken for the enemy, and Wind Erosion Havoc, which increases the damage taken by the enemies. And then the rest just increase attack, and attack is fine. You don't exactly need it for this team, right? Because I'll make an example with the Wind Gate Barrier. The Wind Gate Barrier increases the main tracker's attack by 17%. That's not really needed, right? It's not really needed, but it's a nice to have. Maybe you've got your Canis built up, but it's a nice to have. It's not really needed. The Forest Princess Blessings, there's a 35% chance to increase the Ventus damage dealt by a random ally. Now this one is very important because sometimes it can land on Nazuka, sometimes it doesn't, but hence it's not in the core. It's a nice to have potential as well. So everything else, the speed surge, the leverage boost, they're just nice to have that you don't need, because maybe you're like me and you're not going to be building the Canis. You're not going to give the Canis the damage dealing capabilities at all. You're not going to build her, but if you are going to build her, those will boost the damage she does deal. And then we then go to the main star of the show. I know I've been giving you builds for everybody else except her, but that's her build right there with the flower formation boost, self-improvement. I do want to move flower formation erosion to core because I believe it's also a core, and those are the three you're actually looking for her main build for the emblems as well, for the level 90 emblem. Those three, which is the flower formation boost, the core one, self-improvement, and the flower formation erosion. Please note, this build is for boss blitz. I usually focus on boss blitz and not Menace Arena. So Youth Annihilation and flower formation convergence are AoE type skills. And you probably wonder, what do I mean by that? One of them works for mobs. It kills mobs, which is Youth Annihilation. Insta kill mobs. And then the other one says when there are 2 or more enemies in the, what's the word of this, in the flower formation, increases the flower formation damage. That will rarely happen in boss blitz. It will only happen when they summon those small minions. So it's inconsistent, and I don't like to aim for it in my build if I'm building for boss blitz. But for Menace Arena, those two actually jump up in favor, right? They jump up in favor, especially the flower formation convergence. That one becomes a core if you are then going for the other build, which is the AoE build, because it increases the Ventus damage taken. No man, what am I saying? The convergence, it increases the what's this? Formation. Wow, Eso. It increases the formation, the formation damage that it deals by 59%, which is, I mean, by 41%, and the additional 59%. So it's actually quite the core formation, the core potential you want. It even changes the 3 stats you want for the level 90 emblem. Flower formation convergence is the second one after flower formation boost blast if you are in AoE situations. Now I've gone over what the potentials mainly want, and I've gone over my best build. I will then go over the other builds, but I will not be going over each potential specifically and telling you what it does and all that, because I've already gone over for this. Nazuka won't change much. The only change will be whether it's AoE or single target. So the other team that I do like and I do use is the Nanoha team. Nanoha does deal well. I need y'all to remember something, because if you're seeing I'm sure I have replays playing in the background, or I did, I'm not sure. Editing's still gonna happen. But yeah, in the replays, I already showed it in my first impressions video that Nazuka wipes the floor with Nanoha in terms of damage. Remember, there is currently a boost right now that is happening in the, what's this thing called, in the boss blitz. In the boss blitz, the Ventus side, there is a boost to support skill damage. But if you take the same team and take it to the other side of boss blitz, the Lux side, basically, the side that benefits Lux, you will see that Nanoha and Nazuka actually deal quite comparable damage, with Nanoha inching ahead sometimes, with Nazuka inching ahead sometimes. So with that in mind, the Nazuka does deal great damage, and it's almost equal to Nanoha in single target situations. In AoE situations, Nazuka will win hands down because she has that Youth Annihilation. So Nanoha really does work with the Nazuka, and she's good. They deal comparable amounts of damage, which is quite good. A versatile dealing equal damage to a Vanguard. I like that. Sometimes more, which is also fine. So this is the build, and these are the potentials you will be looking for. Now, there is another build that you might go for, and it is the only situation where Nanoha actually out DPSs Nazuka. And it's with a non-support, it's with a non-Ventus support, being this one, the Tilia. It's the mark build, since Nanoha is the one who triggers the marks, and Nazuka is the one who's inflicting the marks. Obviously, the Nanoha is gonna deal more damage. So in this team, I found that Nanoha then takes the center stage, and this team is actually quite a strong one. Actually, it's my second strongest team, only behind the Canis one. I still wanna get good potentials for the Nanoha one, which I haven't gotten. I've been unlucky in my runs. You know the RNG can do that to you. But yeah, this one I got a good record for, and the Tilia with the Nanoha and the Nazuka deal great damage. Now, I'm tired of telling people to try Tilia everywhere because she works everywhere, and this team works really well. If you remember earlier, I had mentioned that with the Nazuka applying the marks so consistently, you actually trigger a lot of mark damage. So with that in mind, you should know that Nanoha can actually deal so much more damage in this team, and she actually out DPSs Nazuka in this team on both sides. On both sides, she will out DPS. Oh wait, on the other side she won't add DPS because there's the support skill buff. They are more like equal, but then without it she's way ahead. She's way ahead. But yeah, those are my 3 teams. I hope you like this whole thing. All credits, I forgot to say this, all credits to the creator of the website who created this website for us so that we can be able to actually display the builds we use. The website will be in the description. It's noyanoya.vessel.app. All credits to the creator whose name has escaped me. I had memorized it before I started this, but now it is gone. But yeah, all credit to them because this infographic is really nice and you can actually see which potentials are main, core, and why you should use this one and not that one. But yes, that is the build.